Word nerd, wordsmith, wordy, wordless. Oxford Dictionary says a word is a single, distinct, meaningful element of speech or writing, used with others or sometimes alone. We say each one matters. No extra words is literature, minimalist style. And we're getting you right to the story. Tipsy by T.E. Cowell. You drink your last beer, and then decide you'll drive to the store to get more. You decide you'll get a few other things at the store too, like maybe a pizza and more milk since you're starting to run low. What else do you need? Bananas? Another bag of tortilla chips? Salsa? Beans? You don't make a list, as you hate lists. You think making lists is a sure sign of laziness, of cognitive absence. Once you start making shopping lists, it all goes downhill from there, you think. If you forget something while you're in the store, you'll get it next time. It's not the end of the world if you forget something. You'll live. You leave your apartment and get in your car. You turn it on, then back out of your space. You turn onto the side road and then onto the main road. You're driving along, and then you notice a cop car behind you and start to panic. You think, all right, stay cool. You think, I've only had one beer, so I'm not drunk. I'm only barely tipsy. You think, okay, to be honest, yes, I'm tipsy, but not so tipsy that it's illegal for me to drive, right? You're not sure about this, as you've never been pulled over before. What's the legal limit of alcohol you can have in your system while driving? 0.08%? It doesn't seem like a big number to you. In fact, it seems like a very small number. You wonder if you are over the limit. The beer you'd recently drunk was a fairly strong stout. You sort of have a thing for strong stouts. You start to drive very carefully, afraid that any second now the cop's going to flash his lights and that then you'll have to pull over. Whenever you see a cop pulling someone over, you always feel sympathetic towards the person being pulled over, no matter what that person had done to get pulled over. You think, if I got a DUI, I could lose my job. You think that would be a gift and a curse, but more of a curse than a gift, as then I'd be forced to move back in with my parents, most likely until I found another job. You think, please God, or whoever's up there, or whatever, if you just let this cop not pull me over, I'll quit drinking anything alcoholic before I drive. I promise, I'll only drive sober from now until I die. You stop at a four-way stop sign, wait for a car that had gotten there before you to make its turn, then go straight. You look in your rear view and see that the cop has also gone straight, and now you think that he must be following you on purpose, that he must be onto you. You think, I might be driving too cautiously. You think, I need to relax to drive completely at ease and without a trace of guilt. You throw your arm around the passenger seat's headrest. I got this, you think. You glance in the rearview mirror and think, I'd like to see him pull me over. At the next four-way stop, the cop turns while you continue going straight. That's what I thought, you think. At once relieved, but also, strangely enough, disappointed that nothing ever happens. At least not to you. First Time for Everything by Amanda Staples. Lou tore the top from her third sachet of sugar, poured it into her coffee, and caught her friend's judging eye as she did so. What? I'm cutting down. I used to have 4 of these things. That's terrible, Lou. No, it's not. They tell you it is equivalent to a teaspoon, but honestly, in whose world? The borrower's? Lilliput? Are you sure you're not confusing a teaspoon with a tablespoon? I don't know how you keep your figure. You are aware of the whole sugar being bad for you campaign. Apparently, it's as addictive as heroin or cocaine or something like that. Lou poked her tongue out at Sarah. Surely, if that were the case, there would be sugar rehab facilities. Anyway, this meeting isn't social so much as work, so if you don't mind, can we get on? I can see why you work from home. No one would put up with you in an office. So what's this all about? Sarah smiled at Lou as she stirred the tea bag in her teapot. I'm doing a feature on firsts. First kiss or love, first job, first CD, first anything really. I asked people to message me on Facebook with them. Actually, some of the material I've gathered will be used for other things, 2 in particular. Can you tell me, or is it all top secret for now? Sarah asked, cutting a brownie in half and pushing the larger portion to Lou, aware of her own increasing muffin top and tightening jeans. Oh, some of these people are amazing. Lou sipped her coffee, made a face, considered adding more sugar, and thought better of it. Okay, so I'm thinking primarily of two women. First best friend category is one of them. Both friends were only children, met at primary school, and stayed best friends. They're now in their late 50s. Seen each other through heartbreak, marriage, divorce, childbirth, cancer, you name it, you'd think they were sisters. That's nice, Sarah said, nibbling at the brownie. I sometimes wish I'd had someone like that, or a sister I was close with. My brother was rubbish. You've got me. I know, but I met you later in life. I've only known you 5 years. Still, I'd like to think we're close. We are, Sarah touched her friend's hand. I'm grateful for you every day. Oh, enough with the soppiness, or you'll have me in tears. Lou laughed, taking a large bite of the brownie. So tell me about the other one. I hope you don't expect me to come up with anything awe-inspiring. Oh no, don't worry, I'm using you for normalcy. Thanks. This woman, this will be a separate piece, and I have to contact her again, is 45 years old. So close to us in age, it's scary. She swam in the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, won medals galore. When she retired professionally, she went into coaching. I mean, she lived, breathed, and ate swimming. One day, bam, she collapses. Stroke. Oh no, that's awful. Is that why you're cutting down on sugar and drinking decaf coffee? Not exactly. Anyway, when I asked for people's firsts, a friend of hers got her to contact me. She replied with all her post-stroke firsts. First step and first words, first time she could write a text and type an email, first time she cooked a chicken casserole, which took her 3 hours as she had to do it all left-handed. I mean, the woman is amazing. Absolutely. She's clearly very determined. I imagine that was the same motivation that got her winning those medals. Yes. So then she goes on to tell me about the first swim. Not her actual one post-stroke, that is. She didn't even know if she could swim. Gosh. Can you imagine having something so precious just ripped away from you? Her entire life was swimming, then it was gone in a split second. That's just dreadful. I know. She had me in tears. And you know I don't cry easily. So they hoist her into the pool. She can't use the steps because she has to walk with 2 sticks now. And she doesn't know if she'll sink or swim. The lifeguards all know her, and one gets in and puts a woggle under her armpits. Oh, whaty? A woggle. Those long float things like fat spaghetti we used at Aquafit that time? Oh yes, go on. So woggle in place, they slowly and gently lean her forward, and she told me she just had this amazing sense of freedom. Just floating, all her limbs moving independently of her. It's the simple things in life, isn't it? It really is. We take so much for granted. It makes you think, doesn't it? She's truly inspiring. Well, I can't top that story. Don't panic. I want run-of-the-mill stuff from you. That I can do. Fancy a panini? They're very good here. Sarah glanced up at the chalkboard menu on the wall. I'll probably just get a salad in a minute. A salad? That's a first for you, Sarah laughed. Cheeky. Right. Then tell me about your first kiss, please. Ah, now I never quite remember this. It was either Branwell Beecher or Georgie Graham's. You're making that up, Lou snorted. I swear I'm not. They were real people, and those were their actual names. They were my first kiss and first experience of alliteration in names. They did everything together. Asked me out together, dumped me together. You floozy dating 2 boys at once, Lou smirked. I didn't get a say in it. I think it only lasted a matter of weeks. I don't really remember. I was 11. That's nearly 30 years ago. I've got to put that in my piece. That's hilarious. Okay, next. First album and first CD. Oh, now this will show my age. And my poor taste. I can't do it. Go on, spill the embarrassing beans. Hold on. Is this the first record I bought or the first bought for me? Let's have the whole shebang. I can't wait, Lou winked. Sarah sighed and pointed a warning finger at her friend. This had better be anonymous. The first record bought for me was the Wombles. That's priceless. Does it get better? That depends on your definition of better. First album I bought, I'm pretty sure, was 5-star. It might have been Tight Fit. Lou nearly choked on her coffee. Who? Tight Fit. I'm sure they were called that. They sang Fantasy Island. I still remember the chorus. Would you like me to sing it for you? No. Spare me. First CD, dare I ask? He's 17. Oh my good grief. You are comedy gold, you are. Sarah poured another cup of tea from the pot. Glad to be of service. So what was your first CD? Rick Astley. You do realize that is no better. I do, but my firsts aren't going in the article. How convenient. So do you have any more mind-blowing firsts you want to share with me? Well, actually, Lou replied, looking away as she squashed the cake crumbs together on the plate and licked them off her fingertip. She looked at Sarah coyly. Paul and I are... Having your first baby? Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the moment. I'm right, though, aren't I? Sarah was jigging about in her seat. Yes, Lou beamed. Sarah let out a squeal of delight, leapt from her chair, and embraced her friend. That's fantastic! Congratulations, she said into Lou's thick, dark hair. What gave it away? Lou asked as Sarah sat back down. Salad. I have never seen you eat one yet. Well, there's a first time for everything, Lou grinned. Hello there! Welcome to No Extra Words, the Flash Fiction Podcast. My name is Chris Baker-Dersch. I'm your producer and editor. Fair warning, if you hear a noise in the background, that's Jasper, the 80-pound husky mix, who for some reason has decided to record with me today, and nothing that I can do will keep him out. So usually I would cut him out, but if you hear bangs and thumps, that's his tail hitting the microphone, and he's a very, very noisy dog. So that's what's going on behind the scenes here at No Extra Words. Which is nice, because it brings me right up to my first announcement of the day, which is that next episode, I should say. We use this every week, but next episode is our podcast anniversary. Believe it or not, this show has been going on for 2 years. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. And this episode is jam-packed. It is full of short fiction. It has a special segment, all of that. But I am going to take just a couple minutes out of it and kind of lift the curtain and go behind the scenes at No Extra Words just a little bit. So if there's anything you've always wanted to know about the why and the how and the of this show, numbers or bloopers, I can't promise you bloopers, but any of that kind of stuff, hit me up on our social media channels. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're No Extra Words everywhere. We're noextrawords.wordpress.com, noextrawords@gmail.com, any of those places. And let me know what you are curious to know about the show, and maybe we can include that as part of our podcast anniversary. So that's our first announcement of the day. I want to say welcome back on this episode, because I feel like we've been somewhere, which is weird because we weren't, but National Poetry Month lives sort of in its own space, and coming out of that and going back into kind of more ordinary is nice and refreshing. I did do a blog post to close out National Poetry Month. If you haven't seen it yet, it's over on the website. Hope you'll check that out. And we're kind of back to ordinary today. The dun-da-da-da writing spaces segment is back, so that is coming up next. 2 former No Extra Words contributors are going to tell us where they write. And we're full of short fiction today. That story, Tipsy, that the show started with, I feel like it's an experience that every single person has ever had when they are driving. That whatever you did or didn't do, as soon as you see that cop car in your rearview mirror, you know they're for you, and they're gunning for you, and they're going to get you, which, when you think about it, has to be the most conceited way of dealing with the world ever. As if this car, this cop, this situation exists just because of you, and you're the center of the universe. It's crazy, but I think everybody feels that way. And so to go from that into Amanda Staples' story, where it's how you are perceived by your very best friend in the universe, I love that juxtaposition. We're going to end with another story about perceptions of who people are, and I will tell you that story is not explicit per se, but it is definitely adult in theme. So if you are listening with smaller ears in the room, just be aware that that may not be the perfect story for them. That comes your way right after Writing Spaces. I'm going to see you on the podcast anniversary jam-packed. I want to tell you what it is, but I'm not going to spoil it. But that is coming next episode. And spoiler alert, between now and then, we also have a special coming your way. Oh my gosh, so many things are happening on this show. I'm going to get out of your way and let some writers talk to you about where they write. Take care. I'll see you soon on No Extra Words.
Where it's done. The space where my body works is unremarkable. A blue couch with dual kick rests, the left side, mine, still working. There's a thrift shop side table where a half-dozen nervous books of verse stand cornered by a slightly aggressive brushed steel lamp. There's an old fireplace now home to an air duct, some cobalt blue tchotchkes standing watch on the wooden mantel. The windows face a church that blocks out the sun, the symbolism of which is not wasted on me. The space where my mind works, however, is a bit more interesting. It's an old hotel overlooking the avenue, rococo styling, palm fronds flanking the mahogany bar. The bartender is a brunette whose natural beauty is heightened by silver hoop earrings, and the desk clerk is a graying alcoholic with a pet parrot that knows everyone's secrets and, like all parrots, has no filter. There's a radio in the lobby, but no TV. Typewriters roam freely throughout the garden. They're tame and will eat the words right out of your hand.
Out the window in my stereograph is Aschelden, a small German community with a pop of maybe 1,000 and the feel of maybe Mayberry RFD. I live in an old Bavarian farmhouse, originally built during the 1600s. In the 1970s, the Bildhauer Professor Heinrich Kirchner bought the buildings and turned the house and dairy barn combination into 2 homes, taking one for himself, and the mow and machinery shed out back into his foundry. His granddaughter continues the foundry work. Bildhauer means an artist who sculpts things out of stone or creates forms to cast and pour. Bildhauer, image pounder, a lovely word. Heinrich Kirchner, Heinrich space KIRCHNER. Worth a Google. I share half the old house with a well-known photographer who has opted out of becoming better well-known by means of this show and tell. I get on as a writer, translator, and web and print media profi. My webpage is reishus.de, reishus.de. The desk in the photo I bought some 30 years ago at an auction from a shuttered umbrella factory located 2 doors down from where I then lived on Heberlstrasse in München. It's an umbrella designer's desk with a fluorescent light window. And it's, I like the fluorescent at 4 in the morning. That's a cheap Edvard Munch reprint hanging overhead and an original Egon Gunther on the right. Now that Trump's finally president, I will soon be leaving the desk behind and taking Munch and Gunther with to settle on Oregon's coastline. Earthquake, tsunami, Trump, like the Germans say, eine runde Sache. The flash I published in no extra words springs from my tiny house and container home, Überlegungen. Exciting times. Thank you, Miss Dersch.
The Afternoon Sleepwalk by Kara Lopez Lee. It slithers into her home office around 3 in the afternoon. The snake coils around her brain and squeezes, a tourniquet strangling thoughts. She's ghostwriting a book about asserting your voice. This existential joke elicits a slack-jawed yawn. Last night she suffered insomnia again, and her husband's snoring inattentiveness offered no muscle relaxant, neither big O's nor little A's. Listless hands slip from the keyboard. Her reflection blinks back from the screen, and the lonely-eyed girl reminds her of one she knew long before laptops. Loose eyelids descend into dreams. So the afternoon sleepwalk isn't really her fault. She steps from empty house to tempting street. Summer rays make her squint, blinding her to intention. Heat wraps her in a tropical vacation, languid, flat-bellied, bikini-clad. Her body waits for a lover to squirt sunscreen on her back and spread it with firm, circular strokes everywhere. It's 4 blocks to the coffee house where college boys with dark musical eyes and careless black curls, or well-read blue eyes and tangled blonde ponytails, pour scalding espresso or tall, cool, spicy chai choked with ice. Because she comes often, they smile unhurried smiles and speak in husky tones about this one's bluegrass band or that one's almost finished thesis. Coffee beans grind, steam hisses, genre fiction tap-tap-taps onto Mac keyboards, sex and betrayal, sex and crime, sex and sci-fi. She lingers inside the eyes of the dark mandolin-playing barista, certain he smells it too, this thing between them, like burnt coffee on tongues and summer mud between toes. He slides a mocha into her waiting fingers. I drizzled it with caramel. I remember how you like it. She slips $1 into the tip jar and leans across the counter. Take a break. Now. Her lips shine, not with promise, but a guarantee. 20 years separate them, but that's what she wants, yielding hips of experience exploding against ropey muscles of discovery. He follows her home past shuttered workday windows. As the world waits for 5 o'clock, 2 escape artists hide under soft, slippery 400-thread count cotton and fill her bed with a thick, low moan. It's not love, but it's tender and hard in a way that love forgot. What's your name? He asks. No names. She pulls his lower lip between hers and savors a smoky hint of herbal African rooibos. This is all I want to know. By 5 o'clock, she's twisted in sweat-soaked sheets and he's pumping more shots of caffeine for the addicted after-work rush. She rises, tosses the dregs from the bottom of her coffee into the kitchen sink, and recycles the cardboard cup and sleeve. Then she sways under a hot shower to an alternative rock song from 20 years ago and rinses away evidence of her somnambulant stroll. She steps out and hears a key fumbling the back door. Soon her husband enters the bathroom steam cloud, twines suspicious fingers in wet hair, and asks with a dry smile, "So, did you take another unplanned nap today?"
Thanks for listening to the No Extra Words podcast. For more information on today's stories and contributors, or to learn how to submit your own work, please visit us at noextrawords.wordpress.com. The best support you can give the show is to recommend us to your family and friends. See you next time.